Looks like Taika Waititi is calling it quits on two of the largest film franchises in modern cinema, both Star Wars and the Marvel Cinematic Universe, following the negative reception from his recent Thor Love and Thunder project. While it may be surprising to some, for others, it's an all-too-familiar situation seen throughout the film industry, with Waititi just being the latest victim. Here's everything we know about the move. Starting off with Love and Thunder. Taika Waititi's first-ever major studio project was Marvel's Thor Ragnarok, a movie that successfully managed to revitalize two of the most boring and, most importantly, lowest-grossing Avengers with a comedic touch and quite a bit of sci-fi imagery. It quickly rose to become one of the most popular MCU flicks and an enormous hit, even by the standards of one of the biggest entertainment franchises in the world. Despite his track record, our trusted and proven sources are telling us that Taika Waititi will not be returning to direct the still-in-development Thor 5. The reason? The mixed reception to the recent Thor Love and Thunder. Love and Thunder was Taika Waititi's second major film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and it seems that it has soured him on the idea of a Thor 5. While Thor Love and Thunder was by no means a bomb, grossing $746 million at the box office, making it one of the top 10 highest-earning films of the year so far, it did not receive the same overjoyed and astonished acclaim as Ragnarok. In many ways, this was inevitable. A large part of what people loved about Ragnarok was Taika Waititi's abrupt tonal change from the sweatily lofty, dry, earlier Thor movies to a largely lighthearted, frequently joking cartoon world. It made people realize that Chris Hemsworth's comedic performance in the 2016 Ghostbusters was not a fluke, and also that maybe there is something kind of goofy about the idea of a blonde space god fighting a green anger monster for Jeff Goldblum's amusement. However, people weren't as much into it the second time around. Judging by the largely lukewarm reception of Thor Love and Thunder, which largely negatively compared it to Ragnarok, Taika Waititi feels he cannot pull out the same bag of tricks for Thor 5. Honestly, it's very understandable that he wouldn't want to go back to the same Asgardian well another time. After breaking through to the mainstream in a big way with the third Thor movie, he won an Academy Award for Best Adapted Screenplay for the dark World War II comedy Jojo Rabbit. Other than that, he also directed an acclaimed episode of and performed in the hit Star Wars show The Mandalorian, co-created the universally praised FX series Reservation Dogs, and starred as the legendary pirate Blackbeard in the HBO series Our Flag Means Death. In other words, Taika Waititi has a lot on his plate without worrying about returning to diminishing returns for Thor 5. It also seems that Waititi's pretty well ensconced in the Disney machine without Thor. The status of his announced Star Wars is in doubt, but both the Marvel Studios and Lucasfilm arms of the company seem to like having an acclaimed director around to direct an episode or two of various shows for critical clout. That Taika Waititi is also very enthusiastic to do some voice work and motion capture just makes him that much more enticing for Disney, but it sounds like we should not be expecting a Thor 5 to repeat his tricks. Furthermore, Waititi isn't sure if his Star Wars film will even exist. While promoting Thor Love and Thunder, Taika Waititi did confirm that his Star Wars movie isn't a sure thing. As Waititi said, he isn't even sure if it will get made. He's still figuring out the story, saying if it's not ready, then it's not ready, and acknowledging that, much like many of the other Star Wars movies, his film could also get cancelled. Waititi also actually forgot Natalie Portman was in the Star Wars prequels. Regarding Marvel, we can also add that Thor Love and Thunder have a similar reception to that of Captain Marvel. While Captain Marvel did do $1 billion at the box office, it was mostly negatively received, and Feige chose not to bring back the writing and directing team. Feige also chose to remove Captain Marvel from the sequel title and add two actors and characters to star alongside Brie Larson, who recently questioned her future with Marvel. Thor Love and Thunder also received a lot of backlash, just like Captain Marvel, so if the rumor is true, Waititi isn't coming back for Thor 5. What's more, stuff like this has happened multiple times before. This wouldn't be the first time that Kathleen Kennedy's choice for a new Star Wars project has been called into question following a previous project failing. Game of Thrones creators David Benioff and D.B. Weiss were supposed to develop new Star Wars movies, but following the disappointing last couple of seasons of their HBO series, they stepped away from their Lucasfilm deal. Likewise, following Wonder Woman 1984 being such a complete disaster, especially considering the first Wonder Woman had been so well received, Patty Jenkins, who was given complete control over WW84, may not direct Star Wars Rogue Squadron, though presently it's said to still be happening, but has yet to go into production and is said to be further off. Rian Johnson was also supposed to develop a new Star Wars trilogy, but following The Last Jedi destroying the franchise and killing merchandise sales, Johnson on Star Wars doesn't seem to be happening. But if it somehow does come to fruition, it'll be at least a decade after The Last Jedi. Kathleen Kennedy has also seen big failures with J.J. Abrams on Star Wars, particularly with The Rise of Skywalker. Director Gareth Edwards had to be replaced by Tony Gilroy on Rogue One, and Ron Howard replaced Phil Lord and Christopher Miller on Solo: A Star Wars Story. It's also likely Robert Rodriguez won't be back on any more Star Wars projects, following how bad The Book of Boba Fett has been received. Meanwhile, in other Star Wars news. First off, Disney removes the Rogue Squadron spin-off series from its release calendar. Disney has removed Rogue Squadron, the Star Wars film from director Patty Jenkins, from its release calendar. The move comes as little surprise since the marker, which was scheduled for December 22, 2023, was taken off the studio's production schedule in 2021. The announcement is more or less pro forma, as the window for Rogue Squadron to start filming in time to complete the movie by next December has very nearly closed. The next big screen story in the space opera saga had already been delayed to November 2021, reportedly due to scheduling conflicts with Jenkins. As part of the scheduling change, Disney set release dates for several movies, including its Snow White remake starring Rachel Zegler, Inside Out 2, and the Lion King sequel titled Mufasa by director Barry Jenkins. Next up, the third trailer for The Mandalorian is finally out. We will all have to wait a little longer to get more Baby Yoda. Earlier this year, in the aftermath of Disney Plus's The Book of Boba Fett, we were all psyched thinking that the third season of The Mandalorian would arrive in time for the ultimate Star Wars Christmas present, but now that release date has been pushed back to sometime in 2023. To help comfort disappointed fans who were all set to plop down and watch Mando and Baby Yoda, aka Grogu, while sipping a festive mug of spiked eggnog, the folks over at Disney treated fans with a new preview trailer for The Mandalorian Season 3 that didn't disappoint. Now banished from his tribe for removing his helmet and showing his face, the fearsome bounty hunter can redeem himself at the sacred site of the living waters amid planet Mandalore's ruins. So far, Disney has been rather quiet about the plot details, but suffice it to say that the intrepid duo will be getting into plenty of misadventures while en route to Mando's adopted homeworld when the series returns. Presented by Lucasfilm at the D23 Expo inside the Anaheim Convention Center, this intense 2-minute trailer reveals a civil war erupting between title character Din Djarin's acolytes and the remaining members of the Mandalorian race. We also got to see raging space battles, a bitter Bo-Katan, a joyous Greef Karga reunion, and a triumphant fireworks celebration. Season 3 can't come soon enough. And finally, Star Wars Eclipse will follow the same formula as other Quantic Dream games. Looks like Star Wars Eclipse is set on keeping the fundamentals of Quantic Dream games, despite being an action-adventure title at heart. During an interview with IGN Japan, Quantic Dream CEO Guillaume de Fondumière confirmed that the studio's upcoming Star Wars game will retain what we've come to expect from the studio. Star Wars Eclipse was officially announced at the Game Awards 2021, with the game promising an action-adventure, multiple-character branching narrative game set in the High Republic era of the iconic Star Wars galaxy. However, Quantum Dream is better known for its story-driven fare, including Heavy Rain, Beyond Two Souls, and Detroit Become Human. A first look at Star Wars Eclipse featured lightsaber combat and some iconic Star Wars locations. However, it won't just be a Star Wars twist on Quantic Dream's formula. What the story will be remains to be seen, and the recent trailer is our only glimpse of it so far. That's a wrap for this video. Do you think Waititi's Star Wars film will ever make its way to the big screens? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.